ICC accredited lawyer mga kadonatics interview with Gretchen Ho. Dinepensahan si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Sinabing most likely hindi makapag-serve ng warrant yung ICC this year. But there's a possibility mga kadonatics na mangyari yung nangyari kay Tatay Digong na makidnap si Senator Bato de la Rosa. That is according to Attorney Harry Roque. Eto mga kadonatics, panoorin natin.
We have Attorney Gilbert Andres, an ICC accredited lawyer, joining us on Morning Matters. So welcome back to the show.
Morning, Gretchen, and to all your televiewers.
Attorney Gilbert, unang-una help us understand the reply of the ICC to that piece of news dropped by the Ombudsman saying na may arrest warrant that's out for Senator Bato, but they say they cannot confirm this piece of news. And ang sabi po nila, ICC news can only be found on official communications channels and press releases where you can see only one case to date has been opened against Mr. Duterte. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng can't confirm such news? Is that the same as denial?
Oo, ganito kasi Gretchen, sa ICC practice, if there's a warrant of arrest issued for a suspect, yung information na yan ay sequestered muna. Kasi syempre gusto ng ICC ma-implement yung isang arrest warrant para sa isang suspect. Now, we can actually learn from the example, nung nangyari kay Mr. Duterte. I think it was maybe March 9, if I'm not mistaken, when the ICC issued an arrest warrant. And there was really no indication in the ICC website that there was already an arrest warrant for Mr. Duterte. But lo and behold, Mr. Duterte was voluntarily surrendered by the Philippine government on March 12. So we can actually learn from that experience, kasi gusto talaga ng ICC na implement yung arrest warrant kanino man nila ini-issue po ito.
In the calmest seas, danger awakens.
Okay, so this response, in short, is to be expected from the ICC. Okay, and how do you think might we be able to confirm that an arrest warrant is indeed out? Ano kaya yung mga possible indicators na gumagalaw na po ito?
Well, there are two ways to know. Number one, if it's really officially published in the ICC website. But as of now, in fact, I've just checked the ICC website. Wala pong nakalagay na any arrest warrant for the Philippine situation aside from Mr. Duterte. Number two, the ICC will actually issue and will actually course through any arrest warrant through diplomatic channels, one of which is the Interpol, and it will actually reach the state of the nationality of the suspect. Now, it will be up to the Philippine government to confirm right now through diplomatic channels. It will be received by the DFA. But I think the DFA and the DOJ also confirmed that they have not received any arrest warrant from the ICC as of the moment.
Yes, that's the official statement of the DOJ. Spokesperson Martinez said the ministry is still verifying information that they've not received the copy yet. But speaking of the Interpol, si Senator Trillanes back in 2024 said that Senator Bato de la Rosa and 4 drug war cops are on the blue notice. So, ibig sabihin, pag may arrest warrant out, does this blue turn to red?
Well, yan yung terminology ng Interpol, Pero, as I've said earlier, talagang it remains to be seen, whether or not mayroon na-issue yung ICC. And just to be very clear, Gretchen, on behalf of the victims, we actually hope that there will be an arrest warrant for Senator Bato de la Rosa, because in fact he was the one who issued Circular Memorandum 16-2016, which is Oplan Double Barrel. But as of whether or not there's an ICC arrest warrant, to be very candid, I don't really expect it within this year, because the Office of the Prosecutor is actually very focused on the case against Mr. Rodrigo Duterte. But this is just my opinion. I really hope that it will be issued next year.
Bakit next year para matapos muna yung mga decisions when it comes to the pre-trial phase and the confirmation of charges?
Oo, marami kasing mga issues ngayon dun sa case against Mr. Duterte, no? Meron pa nga yung issue ng kanyang fitness to stand trial at meron pa rin yung confirmation of charges, ano? At meron ding appeal, ano, on the interim release. Kaya I think kasi it's the office of the prosecutor who will actually apply for an arrest warrant before the pre-trial chamber. So my instinct tells me, because of a lot of the proceedings, ano, with respect to the case against Mr. Rodrigo Duterte, my instinct tells me that the office of the prosecutor has not yet applied for any arrest warrant aside from that of Mr. Duterte.
Because they're very busy over so many issues related to, I guess, fitness to stand trial and all the other things surrounding the former president.
Yes.
Oo. Okay. But why do you think would the ombudsman drop hints pointing to an arrest warrant? I mean, help us understand what might be the purpose of that, because doesn't that give the good senator time to strategize how to evade arrest?
I don't really know the reason of the ombudsman. Maybe it's aspirational on his part. In fact, it's also aspirational on my part and on the victim's part. But I think the best strategy really is bulaga na lang. Dapat i-implement na lang any arrest warrant issued by the ICC on the Philippine war on drugs.
Oo, hindi na sinasabi ng gano'n na parang bombshell, ano?
Para sa akin lang mga kadinatics, any Filipinos na papayag na arestuhin si Senator Bato de la Rosa or any Filipino mga kadinatics will be brought to the Hague ay mga traydor sa Pilipinas mga kadinatics. Bakit? Why would we allow mga kadinatics na i-kidnap yung kababayan natin overseas while our justice system is working mga kadinatics? Anong silbi nating Supreme Court mga kadinatics, ang ating Department of Justice, kung hindi pala makapagbigay ng hustisya? Why do we have to seek justice mga kadinatics overseas? Well, we can give it right in the land of the Philippines. Yan talaga mga kadinatics. Talagang political ang motivation nila mga kadinatics. Wala na talaga, ginamit yung offices nila just to attack the opposition. Ang opposition pa naman talaga dito mga kadinatics, yung mga taong nagsiservisyo ng totoo. Okay lang yung opposition mga kadinatics na wala namang ginawa kundi paninira. Pero itong mga oposisyon na sinasabi nila ay talagang yung totoong nagsiservisyo at talagang mga kadunatics sinusuportaan ng mga tao. Kaya it would be a big trouble kung papayagan nila na ipakidnap si Senator Bato de la Rosa. I don't care about the extradition law. I don't care about the local court. Those are useless things mga kadunatics. Kung gusto talaga nilang ipa-aresto si Senator Bato de la Rosa, those would not matter anymore. They will always find a way mga kadunatics na makidnap si Senator Bato de la Rosa at kasi nasa listahan nila si Inday Sara Duterte at si Bongo.
Opo.
Okay, but this is kind of complicated because Senator Bato de la Rosa is a sitting official. He is currently an incumbent senator. How might that complicate things? There were already indications that he could possibly stay in the Senate offices. Sabi naman ni Senate President Tito Soto, hindi nila hahayaan na may maaresto within the grounds of the Senate. Pero kapag lumabas na, wala na sa kanilang jurisdiction yon. So, ano ang possible challenges to an enforcement of an arrest warrant if it indeed does come?
I don't really understand this reporter mga kadunatics. Ay talagang parang nasa loob niya na ay dapat talaga makidnap itong si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Ay dapat talaga may ways na kahit ayaw niya, dapat makidnap. Saan yung pagka-Pilipino mo mga kadunatics kung ganyan yung mentality mo? Na ihatid mo yung kababayan mo sa mga puti. Wala namang ginagawa mga kadunatics kundi yung abusuhin yung pagka-Filipino natin, pagka-Asian natin. Yung bang idea na pagputi dapat isubmit natin yung sarili natin sa kanila. Anong klase mga kadonatics? Di ba? Can you imagine? We are no longer a sovereign country mga kadonatics. Our sovereignty is actually under daw sa ICC pag ganyan ang mangyayari.
Okay, that's a good question. We can look at it from two perspectives. First, from the perspective of the ICC. The ICC does not really consider the position of the person. In fact, even a head of state can actually be issued an arrest warrants against, like Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Russian President Vladimir Putin. So the fact that Mr. Bato de la Rosa is sitting senator of the Philippines is not a consideration for the ICC when it's actually considering an application for an arrest warrant. Secondly, let's look at it from the perspective of the Philippines. That's where the challenge is. Kasi I already know that there's a public statement that the Senate practice is, if it's within the premises of the Senate, hindi ipapairal yung any arrest warrant, even by a Philippine domestic court. But if that person, that senator actually goes out of the Senate premises, pwede po siyang ma-arresto. And in fact, it's really an appeal to voluntarily surrender. Mr. Bato de la Rosa.
Mga yawa kayo voluntary surrender. Magpapakamatay pa yan si Bato de la Rosa bago yan mag-surrender mga kadonatics. And that's for sure.
Ever there is an ICC arrest warrant. And for him also to voluntarily surrender to the ICC.
Bungok ka na lawyer ka, bungok ka.
And to face any charges before the ICC.
So if the senator wanted to, he could possibly live in the Senate premises for a very long time.
In the practice among senators. And in fact, there's really no legal basis for it except that it's really a Senate practice.
Oh, okay. To live there. I think that happened years back. I know, but si Senator Ping Lacson nag-abroad po yan. So that's also another recourse for Senator Bato de la Rosa. Tama ba? I mean, staying here, moving around the country would be very dangerous for him.
Pero ako na lang, kung talagang, di ba, sinasabi niya naman na siya ay matapang, iharapin niya kung anumang merong arrest warrant ma-issue ang ICC. Harapin niya
Bugok ka, anong klaseng lawyer ka?
lang ni Mr. Bato de la Rosa.
Okay, of course, another thing that complicates this is the Supreme Court has just approved new rules on extradition proceedings. In particular, I am able to read here that kailangan na siya dumaan sa korte ngayon. How does this change things? Because yun nga, there was so much controversy over how the former president was arrested. Hindi lumabas sa court order. Kinuha na siya, dinala sa airport, nilipad sa Hague. Some would call it extraordinary rendition or kidnapping. Pero ngayon, meron ng new ruling on extradition that there is a need for a certain number of days for appeals, last pleading and court of appeals before makapag-decide dito ang korte. So, your thoughts on that?
Okay, two answers, Gretchen. The first answer is that the rules on extradition proceedings does not apply to any ICC arrest warrant. Why am I saying that? Because if you look at the definition of extradition, and let's be very specific, it's in Rule 1, Section 3, Paragraph E of the rules on extradition proceedings. Ang context po ng extradition is that there is a requesting state. Isa pong bansa ang mag-request. And the ICC is not a state, it's an international organization. My second answer, because the rules on extradition proceedings does not apply to an ICC arrest warrant dahil hindi po state ang ICC, international organization siya. Anong applicable legal regime? So my second answer will be the Republic Act 9851. It's our IHL Act. Kasi sabi dun sa Section 17, Philippine authorities may voluntarily surrender any person within Philippine territory who's being investigated or prosecuted before an international tribunal. And this includes the ICC. At Section 17 RA 9831 is the legal justification for the voluntary surrender of Mr. Duterte to the ICC last March.
So wala kasi tayong extradition treaty with the ICC. That's what you're referring to. Tama ba?
Kasi, Gretchen, ang context talaga ng extradition treaty, it's between states. So like, for example, the Philippines and the United States of America. Oo, meron tayong extradition treaty with them. Pero ang international organization kasi, wala siyang extradition treaty, ano? Let me just give an example kung anong isang treaty wherein this rules on extradition proceedings will apply. Ano? The Geneva Convention. Kasi nakasaad po sa Geneva Convention na mayroon pong grave breaches at mayroon pong obligation ng mga state parties sa Geneva Convention and it's all states in the world, including the Philippines, na either to extradite or to prosecute anyone who's being investigated or prosecuted for grave breaches of the Geneva Convention. Now, ang problema kasi, ang challenge kasi sa ICC, hindi naman po siya state. At ang regime po nag-a-apply doon sa international law ay ang Rome Statute. And in fact, ang aking argument palagi, nag-a-apply pa rin yung obligation to cooperate ng Philippines under Article 127 of the Rome Statute. Kahit nag-withdraw na po yung Philippines. At sa domestic sphere naman, ang legal basis for the voluntary surrender of any person within Philippine territory sa ICC, kung mayroon pong arrest warrant, is Section 17 of RA 9850 or the IHL Act.
Okay.
Walang pulos naman talaga tong lawyer na itong mga kadinatics. Ay talagang baliktad yung pag-iisip nila. Now, gusto talaga nila mga kadonatics na we are under the sovereignty of ICC. Ngayon nyo, imagine mga kadonatics, ikaw pag magkasala ka, dalhin ka sa ICC? Ay, nako. Kaya nga, hindi nirespeto ng Israel at Russia itong ICC mga kadonatics kasi wala naman talagang silbi. Ngayon, kung si Senator Bato de la Rosa surrender mga kadonatics, nako, ibig sabihin, nag-submit siya sa mga puti and he's being patriotic Filipino mga kadonatics. Mawawala pag ganun ang mangyayari. Kaya consider kidnapping talaga yung kay Tatay Digong. Anyway, kahit anong pang excuse ang meron tayo mga kadonatics, kahit pa sabihin natin na hindi na tayo member ng ICC, pero mga kadonatics, itong administrasyong ito, according to Attorney Harry Roque, on Senator De La Rosa, pwede bang makidnap si Senator De La Rosa? Ang sagot, oo, dahil walang hiya ang administrasyong binaliwala ang batas. Ganyan talaga mga kadonatics, ang lahat ng nagasuporta sa administrasyong ito ay mga walang hiya. Dapat yung 7 flags mga kadonatics maranasan nyo as soon as possible. Nako, as early as now. Kasi talagang walang hiya sila. Mga bastos mga kadonatics, walang batas-batas sa kanila. Anyway, too much stress we have here mga kadonatics. Ay nako. So ano sa tingin niyo mga kadonatics? Comment down below and please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. God bless you mga kadonatics. Ingat palagi. Bye bye.